The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Alerts and Workflow webinar. My name is Darcy, your customer account manager here at Sage. Super excited to be hosting the session for you guys today. At Sage, we do help businesses of all sizes better manage their finances, operations, and their people so ultimately they can thrive. Today's session will be recorded and the recordings will be emailed to you after the session. And so with that, let's start today's session. I'll pass it over to Greg from Alerts and Workflow. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Darcy, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I truly appreciate you joining in for this. Let me see if we can get this activated. Oh, there it goes. So my name, as Darcy said, is Greg Swallow. I've been working with Sage 300 since really my entire career for almost 40 years now. I started with when it was owned by Computer Associates, and we dealt with dongles. So I've seen every version of 300. A unique thing for me with most of the people that you're going to get a presentation from moving forward from Sage is I am Canadian. So I understand the tax codes, I understand our two languages, I understand the burdens and tribulations that we're dealing with in the global sense. So I'm here to help you be successful with Sage 300 and hopefully with the product of Sage Alerts and Workflow. So in today's agenda, I'm going to talk about 12 ways to improve your business with the product. I'll tell you about product configuration, so the price point to get started, so it doesn't get afraid if you want to escalate this up within your organization or socialize this webinar within your organization, and how to get more information. I'll go through a quick product demo, which I think you'll find interesting in what you can do with the product relatively quickly and pretty much out of the box. Then we'll go through some next steps of how to get, engage with me, engage with your partner, and then we'll wrap up with a little Q&A. So when we talk about Sage Alerts and Workflow, think of a software that's you're sitting in your database, looking at your data, actively monitoring things. So it's called business activity monitoring. So we look for anomalies or things that have to happen so you don't have to physically be involved with it. Things like forms deliveries. So think of all the forms that have come out of Sage 300 that you, over the course of the week, deliver to it. It could be quotes and invoices, certainly statements, invoices that go out on shipments, dunning notices, packing lists. There's all kinds of different forms that are generated within the modules of 300, and someone's responsible within your organization for generating them and then moving them to that next step, either attaching an email and sending it through, posting it somewhere. Some form of activity has to happen. You can use Sage Alerts and Workflow for that forms delivery. So any data that's residing within the database in any of the modules, you can extract out through Crystal or report writers, and then attach it, embed it into the email, and then send it on. So think of it as a forms delivery throughout this conversation. We also do exception managements. So you deal with a lot of orders coming in every day. The ones that always you want to know about are the exceptions. What are those 5% that are different that I need to know about? And it could be, hey, this one's COD, or this one has given me a configuration of packs. So because it's going to be shipped to some location that don't have a fork truck, every package must be 50 pounds or less. They may put that in the body of the PO. You want to have that called out so that you don't ship it the wrong way on a skid and then have to track it backwards, that we're getting the right information from those exceptions that are coming in at the order level and flagging them and letting everyone who needs to know that information as it goes on, and have a final reminder go out before the product is actually shipped. So anything that's coming in, COD, terms, maybe payment before shipment, anything that you can think of that's an exception outside the norm that you'd want us to watch, Sage Alerts is watching those orders going through or your inventory going through to make sure that those exceptions are acknowledged and that we're notifying the right people. We look at time responses. So, in your day of orders and processes and things that happen, you get an order by date, cancel by date, ship by date, approval dates, cash on hand dates, anything that has a time response associated with it, let's have the software monitor that so that I can send out to your shipping department, these are the orders that have to be shipped this week. In the morning, I send an alert out, these are the orders that have to be shipped today. These are the orders that are going to be coming in today from, these are our promise dates of things that are going to happen. These are our completion dates. These are things that we need financing to get money inbound before we can move it to the next step. Everything has a time response that we're looking at within a process from order to cash. Let's use the software to monitor those things so that we make sure that it happened at the right time. We can also monitor to make sure it happened or it didn't happen at the right time so that you can improve on things. So if you missed a date for certainly a shipment or something to that effect, and that shipment was going to go to a store shelf, and now your competitors' products in that store shelf because you can't, they've filled that store shelf, they weren't going to wait at the distribution center. So we want to monitor anything that has a time responses and then trigger reports. And maybe that report goes out every morning just so everyone gets visibility of what's happening, right? Now we've got a couple of things that are going on during this presentation. And one of them is we're going to go through a series of polls. So I'm going to ask for a poll right now if we could before we move on. If you could do that, Darcy. And let me know when you're ready.
Yep, the poll is open right now. I could close it in a few seconds here.
Let's give them a minute. That should be good enough. Wrapped it up. Perfect. Excellent. It's back to me now. I'm gonna just keep going. You got the totals, Darcy?
Yes. Should I share them?
Yeah, you can if you want, yeah. You can do that. If not, we'll hold them till the end.
So we got 13% yes, 7% yes, but it's not Sage Alert and Workflow, and then 80% no.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. All right, back to me, and I'll keep going. We also look at threshold monitoring. Thank you for doing that, folks. We got 3 more to go, and we're just trying to get a sense of how we can help you through these things with these polls. So threshold monitoring, lots of threshold KPIs that you monitor within your business, right? From a sales or how many calls did we make? How many orders did we get in today? What was the total value of orders we got in today? How many orders shipped today? How many purchase orders created? How many invoices do we have overdue? All those things are thresholds that you can monitor. Customer payments. How many customers are paying within 30 days? How many are within 60, 90, and then how many are delinquent, right? Those are thresholds that you want to know. How much past due amounts, quantities on back orders. All these things in each module of Sage 300 can be monitored and the reports generated. And these reports don't have to be inclusive of all things for you. You can pull out the nuggets, the columns, the tables that are unique to you and the information that you need and the way you want to absorb it. And someone else can get that same file, but different information. So we can make it each alert bestowed to the recipient as they get it and how they consume that information. So if there's particular things that make you not sleep at night or worry about, let's get the software to send those to you so that you're not having to spend time digging to find it and or paying someone to go and get that information for you. So we look at threshold monitoring is a great way to use it to keep in the mind that, yes, we're flying within our KPIs that we've set out for our business. And in assignments and approvals, there's all kinds of things that need to be approved. An order comes in, maybe drawings have to be sent. Maybe we want to make sure that we have either a bill of material to start building stuffing, or we got purchase orders outbound to our vendors for subcomponents. maybe we need payments. Maybe someone has to approve a payment of $5,000 and it has to go to finance. There's all kinds of different things that happen from an assignments and approvals, that who is monitoring that? Yes, it happened. We're excited we got the order, but now we want to monitor it as it flows through our system. Again, order to cash, how are we watching this, and who's responsible for watching it? And if that person's out today, does the project just stop, right? So let's have the software monitor things for sales orders and work orders and purchase orders and capital expenditures, all those things that are going on in your business. You set the tone and have the software then send you the information to say, yes, I'm on track, or no, these are the things that you need to be aware of. And then we look at enterprise-wide auditing. If I pulled out your database right now and I looked at all your customers and I said, this is the credit limit that you've assigned to them, this is the amount of credit that they owe you, is that going to line up? Are you going to have customers that have exceeded that, right? Do you have different reps assigned to different customers, to different territories, because reps come and go, people change, we get new customers coming in, we have different items in our system. Do we have repetitive SKU numbers that are going in? Are we calling the same product the same thing? Do we have dead inventory? What are we looking for if you said, audit my system, these are the things that I want to know about, right? So do we have stale dated quotes in there? Do we have orders that weren't fulfilled 100% and they just got lost along the way? Are we giving discount levels greater than we should to customers based on their historic sales that they've had with us? Are they getting a greater discount than they really should, right? So let's look at the software as something that can constantly monitor and again, send those alerts out to the people that are important. And these alerts that I speak of can come by email, but they can also come by SMS. So you can get them to your phone. You can have them pop up on your desktop and say, hey, look, these are the things that you asked about, and these are the things that we're monitoring for you, right? So there's a way, use the way the enterprise-wide auditing. And then reports distribution, right? We've got all kinds of reports that we generated out of 300, or other systems around your enterprise that have databases that have this information. We need to get the reports sent out. So it could be our AR aging, our AP, right? Our balance sheet, job costs, job status. All those things are reports that are generated. Someone in your business right now is going ahead and generating that information and then sending it, responsible for sending it and delivering it to it. Let's use that software to, based on those criteria, to send it out. And then based on the software, send the cadence that I want that information to be sent out. So who should get it and when should they get it? Use that reports distribution to pull all that information and deliver it out. Turn it into Crystal, take it as a CSV file, send it as a PDF, whatever the way that you consume your data, let's have the software generate that out for you. And then data cleansing. I mean, this happens to, you know, the longevity of your business, there's a better chance there's bad data inside your system, right? Duplicated records, emails not complete, missing components along the way, bad credit limits for customers, information from, you know, if I said to you, because people are churning all the time, do we have 3 contacts or 4 contacts within each one of your customers? So if one of our contacts leave, we have someone else that we can talk to about accounts payable. Who is that person? You know, or who's that person that we need in sales? So if I ran a quick data cleansing on your system and looked at all your customers, I could say, look, you only have 2 contacts within this customer of yours, or you only have 1 contact. There's a liability for you if you only have 1 contact. That person wins the lottery and bang, you're gone, so you have no one to communicate. So use the software to just look at that, maybe on a quarterly basis, just pull out what's different, what's missing, what's not right, according to the way that Sage 300 should be set up. But it allows you to then get a better visibility and have a single point of truth. Once you do this 3 or 4 times, you're going to be comfortable in the data that you're looking at, and that's what you're looking for. And then inactivity data. As we go through everything, most important in our life is activity data, but inactivity detection. is think about the way that we treat, our salespeople. We highly incentivize them to go sell net new customers, right? Bring in that new customer. Here's your comp plan. It's highly weighted to that. Then we also make them account managers, and there's a small component of their comp plan based on account management. So they're usually dealing with the fires that are coming in, right? People calling in, I need this, I need that, something's gone wrong. But then there's that other group of customers that are still part of their territory that don't get touched. Let's have that software look for that detection from inactivity. Show me the last time this customer in your territory was contacted. And if this customer hasn't been contacted in the last 90 days, send me alerts so I know that I need to be proactive and reach out to them. Show me the sales of those customers. When was the last time they ordered? Show me the cadence of their ordering in the last 3 years. Have they always ordered from me every 6 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the scenario is? Have they always ordered the same dollar value within range? Do they always order the same quantities and the same part numbers? If those variables change, send me an alert, because all of us, if you've got customers that you're not talking to and you're thinking everything is going great for them, and you start seeing orders coming in that once were 100 SKU units coming through and now it's down to 50, something's changed significantly in their buying habits. And it could be the product that you were associated with is now end of line. It could be one of your competitors got in there and started to eat away at your lunch, right? It works the other way too. If you always got 100 and now you're getting 150, that's a great opportunity for the sales team to reach out and go and like, hey, we see your volume has increased. What's changed, right? Did you do an acquisition? Have you expanded your product line? Have you got new customers, new territories? Maybe there's some other opportunity of components that we manufacture that we can now apply to that sale sort of idea. So using the software is a great tool for just your sales team, right? This inactivity detection of what's going on. We also look at this as inventory. Show me my inventory that hasn't moved. Show me, products that haven't moved in the last 90 days or 180 days, whatever your scenario is, because the longer that products sit in your warehouse, if you're in that scenario, you have shrinkage, you've got damage, you've got obsolescence going in through those products. So let's run a report of show me all those products, then run me another report that gives me all the people that use those, combine them, send an email blast out through sales and marketing saying, hey, we got a 10% or 15% discount on these products because we know you use them, right? That way, inventory is cash. Let's free that up for something more important, especially if it's been sitting there for longer than 6 months. So there's an opportunity to quickly use inactivity detection to see what's going on in your business. And these anytime, anywhere alerts, well, what does that really mean? Is that when we install the product with you, your partner, you're going to start out with 110 different alerts, and I'm going to show them to you here in a minute. Those alerts are broken up by the modules within Sage 300. But more importantly, I don't want all these alerts coming to me all the time, right? So I need these ones between 9 and 5. These ones, my AR aging account and my cash on hand, are important to me at any time of the day. So you can send those to me to my personal email. There's other things, these are the shipments that have got to go out this week. Maybe I don't need to know that, but my managers needs to know that. So when I'm on PTO, I have that alert then sent to my manager. Some I want to come to my desktop, but I don't really sit at my desk all day long. So sending me alert to my email is not going to really help, but send it to my phone, because that's one, no matter where I am on the shop floor or out visiting customers, I'm getting that information, hey, customer payment's been received sort of idea, let's keep going. Those type of information becomes real time at any time and anywhere those alerts can go out. So again, we can email it to you, we can send it through SMS, or we can do pop-ups. So webcasting, take those alerts and then maybe send them to a monitor in the back of your shop saying, hey, everyone can look up in the lunchroom and say, these are the orders that have to be shipped today. These are the orders that are coming in today. These are the orders that have to be, these ones have that exception to them. So remember to pack them in this format versus putting them on a skid. Tying it all together and getting the information out. The information, once it's clear and it's clean and it's from Sage 300, it is that single point of truth, so you can trust it. You don't have to play, you know, broken telephone throughout the organization. Anyone that needs to know this information can get this alert, so you have clarity of what's going on. And if someone you know, is broken in the chain because they're on PTO, you know that everyone down the line still got that information with these anytime, anywhere alerts. And then triggered updates, right? So there's all kinds of things in you know, if you move from module to module, from OE to IC to PO and so on, those are triggers. But we also have other triggers that we can monitor along there. If the client's overdue, you know, what do you want us to do? There's a someone in your organization has a service level agreement of how you deal with your customers. Let's have the software deal with it, make sure it happens, right? Deal with credit limits. If an item is below a minimum, create a PO, create a bill of material. If there's a discount greater than, you know, or less than 25%, put it on hold, right? These are things that you do today in your business, and someone is reacting to them. We can put those same logics within the software, and so the software is reacting to them, so it's always happened. Things that have been old sold, quotes expire, right? That's a huge one right now, is, you know, especially, and I'm going to talk and ask a question in a little bit about it, but you know, if you've got quotes that are about to stale date, or you have quotes that were generated 4 weeks ago, and the tariff rate was 30%, and now the tariff rate is 50%, those quotes are irrelevant, right? Or you're going to lose money. So we want to make sure that we're monitoring our quotes and what's going to close today, what hasn't closed, what needs to be requoted. You know, so we have to put a timestamp on those things. Let's make sure that we're watching those of what's going on. So using triggered updates. And Darcy, if you could right now, let's run that second poll if we could. You got it? 3, 2, 1. Close her down. Pretty good. You got the numbers you need?
Yep, all good.
Okay, good stuff. I'm going to go into continue on. So how does alerts and workflow work? So some of you are deployed in the cloud. Some of you have SaaS models because your partners put you on that. Some of you have desktop client servers. Though they're subscription, you're still paying as a desktop solution. So we're going to deploy with you. We're going to sit with the application itself, sit on the same database. We're licensed to that database. We connect to the database through SQL to SQL, through ODBC if you have other databases you want to call on. You're going to access the system through the cloud. So anyone who has the URL that I'm going to show you in a minute within your organization firewall can access this to look at information or create their own alerts and so on. We create those notifications through emails. We do forms deliveries, the different crystal reports that you have, SSRS, you know, certainly Sage report writers. And then we pull the data for analytics and update. So when we monitor things, we're certainly monitoring Sage 300, but you may want us to monitor SMTP or OAuth 2 through Microsoft 365, where we're looking for emails coming in for things like support at, help at, info at, order. You know, you pick the keywords and we'll monitor your Office 365 for those to make sure that happens. You may want to have things like email response systems where you send things out to your internally, you know, is this the correct shipping date, and shipping responds back yes, no, or gives you a new date, and then you bring that back into 300 so that no one's interacting except through email, right? So there's all kinds of things you can tie into the cloud, and I'll talk about, you know, if I send you an invoice, what would be a cool thing to go after the invoice goes? Maybe if I hit the API of SurveyMonkey and I send a SurveyMonkey to your customer and say, hey, how did you enjoy the experience working with you? For companies on the call that are following NPS scores, right? There's an opportunity. Because we sell both in Canada and the United States and perhaps globally, maybe we want to naturalize to the Canadian dollar. So at the time of transactions, through an API, we want to tie into a commercial board that gives us the exchange rates at that moment, so that whenever that exchange happens at the moment of transaction, that's the currency that we're going to use into Canadian, right? And we may want to have multiple databases because we have a US database because their tax structure, a Canadian database because of its tax structure, and a Quebec database because of its tax structure. So we all have it under the one application of Sage 300, but we have multiple databases because we have them set up slightly differently for auditing purposes, right? So we can have those multiple different websites that we can tie into externally, so cloud connected services, and then Sage 300, and then products that you run within your organization around Sage 300 to make that enterprise run. So it could be, hey, when you send the invoice out, the other thing that I want you to attach to that invoice is a hyperlink to FedEx, UPS, postal, what have you. So that information is embedded into that invoice at the same time you're putting that SurveyMonkey out. We also want to look at things like, what can we send to marketing software like Pardot and that sort of idea, that we have data already residing, and it could be just the email addresses, customers, territories. You can geofence that the way you want, but all that information is reside and can be shared through the API of the application. So this is the API component of it. Again, it's writing in and out of the application and tying that information together. And then, so when we configure the software, it's configured in, right, sitting on your database, tying into the cloud. So those cloud connected services, writing an API. So the API could be a storefront, it could be a CRM, it could be a shipping solution, it could be a fax machine in another area where you need to send things out. We have that one database being the Sage 300, but there's all kinds of other databases that data resides, and it could be a database that contains drawings that have to go out with the, unresponsive order receipt. I need to send the drawings out. I need to send WMIS reports out. Those don't reside within Sage 300, they're in other databases. So let's have the command lines and pull that information and set it forward. So we look at all those different things as we pull the information out. So if you determine that you could benefit from Sage Alerts and Workflow, can you afford it, right? That's okay, that's great, Greg. You've just spent 30 minutes telling me all about it, but what's it really look like in a product? So based on an ultra conservative Canadian wage, right? If you had one person in your team spending 15 minutes a day doing any one of those things that I talked about, of those 12, and you did quick math, that's $1,154 a month of someone's time you're paying to do some of those events that we talked about, right? If I look at the software to start with, just sending out alerts, it's $155 a month, right? That gets me all the things out to send alerts, create those alerts. Now, if I want to add report writing to it, so Crystal SSRS or Sage Report Writers, I'm going to add a little additional monies to it, right? So that's another $123 a month into that. So that brings me up to $278. Then I want to add in workflow, because my workflow is I want you to push it to an API. I want you to take it as a CSV file, send it as a PDF, do whatever the scenario is. What is the workflow of the next step with the data? Again, it's 123. So all of a sudden, you're sitting here for basically $400 a month that you have all these things going on in your system. So it's a really quick ROI, but it's a really quick, a security, right? Because again, it doesn't take holidays. There's no PTO. It's running in the background, monitoring the things that you stay up at night, or you as a corporation decided were the KPIs that are important to your business. Now you've got a software that's going to monitor that, and if it falls within or without those criteria, then it's going to get you that alert. So it's that invisible assistance, if you will, in the background. And then again, if you have other databases outside of the Sage 300 that you want to tie into, you can tie into those, and that gives you then a holistic view of your entire enterprise if you have multiple databases running around. So you can pull from different databases, aggregate it with the data within Sage 300, and get a true view of what's going on. So great opportunity and price point. So additional information. You know, I try to, because you're familiar with Sage 300, you're also familiar that you're in a group of people that use this product around the world. It's sold, you know, through the Pacific Rim and South Africa, the Middle East. We have customers with Sage 300 globally, and which is great, but you know, from a time zone, we can't get to everyone during business hours where I'm sitting here. So I try to put everything into the website that you can capture when you need it. So you don't have to wait for me, you don't have to wait for support, you don't have to wait for your partner. Is we put all the information on our website and we keep updating it, what's going to happen, who's doing what to who, why you need to move to the next version, why it needs to move forward. We also take your suggestions as customers and partners is you know, I want to do something. How do I do this? So one of our sales engineers will actually create videos, and these videos range from really 3 minutes to 18 minutes long. How do I do this? And they take you through, you know, these are the steps, and you're watching them do it on the screen with the application, so that you can, you know, pause it, make sure you're moving forward, you can share it within your organization, and then we look to you as customers to say, I want to be able to do this. And if we don't have a video, I take the suggestions, we build out a script for it, and then we make it and we post it up here. So that we're always constantly, again, because it is a global product, we want to make sure that no one's waiting on us. So how do I do stuff is all put onto these alerts, if you will. So Darcy, if you could open up another demo, I'm going to drop this screen and go to the software itself, or another, sorry, poll.
Another poll, yep, launching right now.
And Darcy, you just confirm you can see. Oh, you can't because you got the poll up right now. No.
I could close it off here in about 5 seconds. Great. Yes, I got your screen, Greg.
Perfect. So I'm not going to apologize. It's just I don't have Sage 300 loaded on this. We were just at Sage Future last week, and if perhaps, you know, some of you got a chance to see or hear from your partners about that. So I've only got Sage 100 on here, but it's the exact same thing because it's based on a database itself. So we're going to pull this one, and I'm going to show you some of these queries, and you see how it's broken out by modulo. So AP, AR, bill of materials, inventory control, PO, and sales order, right? So we picked one that we're going to start with AP. These are the queries that come with the software. So everything that I'm showing you is out of the box. It starts out here, and I wanted to pick a query to show you what happens. So we're going to take quantity C. Let's find something with quantity here. Accounts for customers all. Let's go find something that has internal office. GT. So let's see. So here I want to look at what's going on in the application. I'm going to pull this up here. So the first thing I'm going to look at is which columns do I have? So these would be all the columns that are within, let me see, Sage 300. I select the columns that I want and I put them into here, And this gives me the table selection for those columns. So every table in the database, it allows me to then take that information and create a list of all the tables and information that I want to pull out of the application. So I'll just expand that a little bit to show you. I select the unique. So what is unique about this? And it's going to be the invoice number. That's what I'm going to get. But I want all this other information because it's pertinent to my query that I'm going to look at. For some of you that are on SQL, you can look at it as a SQL command to go and get that information, but then you just preview it. And here I'm going in to pull all the information that is based on that criteria that I sent, the invoice number, the date, the invoice amount, and so on. And now I can send it out. So this is an alert. So every time a change happens, and it could be a change in the quantity, it could be a change in the date, it could be a PO number change, it could be a shipping balance change, it could be a payment received. Anything that changes in that can create an alert for me and send that information to me. All right, so if I expand and I pull up here, and sorry, as we go through these are the things that, you know, charts paid, due dates due dates, unpaid vendor number, on hold customers, overdue payments, who owes me more money, balance per vendor, total overdue payments, unpaid balance equals X. So you can put that X in there. So if it's $100 or $1,000, you can add that information. And vendors on payment holds, right? So, okay, well, who are the vendors on payment hold, right? So again, pull those columns. These are the columns and tables within Sage 300. I look in here. These are the tables that I want. I select the tables based on vendor number, vendor name, telephone number, telephone whatever, right? So you select these. These are all soft coded, so you can go ahead and create your own and pull that information out of the application. So in this case, they've got none. So we don't have any payments in that way. So that's good. And these are things that if I set an alert like that, and you set it up to run every hour or every day, if there's no data, you don't get the alert. So you know that nothing's happened in it. So I'm going to go to another module here. So we'll go to, oops, again, make this more easier for you to see. We'll go to accounts receivable, because these are important to us in today's world. We're going to pull that out to be 1,000 because we have 34 of them, 34 prepackaged alerts already associated with it. And we're in accounts receivable. So well, let's go, what do I want to look at? Let's go customers all. You can look at anything. So we'll go customers new, customers all. Let's go customers all. So here I want to write a report of all my customers that I've got within 300. Again, selecting the table criteria of what I want. So these are all the available tables within 300. You decide which one you want to pull, you know, the appropriate information against the library. Then once you get that column, you say, okay, this is the detailed information, right? The granular information that I want from each one of those. You then build the alert below here where we start to add in that information, right? So this is what I want: the customer's AR status, customer number, customer balance, and customer's credit limit. A simple little alert that you can, you know, you could run out and say, okay, do any of my customers' balances exceed their credit limit? Would be a comment that I would look for. So I then pull the data out of the application. I find their current balances here, but I've extended them, you know, this credit limit sort of idea, so that someone is doing this within your organization today, and they're manually doing it. The software can just be set up and do that. And this would be a report that you would probably want to run on the 30th of every month. Just give me a snapshot of what I'm doing, what I'm moving forward to. All right. Okay. And we're just going to pop down to some IC stuff, because there is always fun, because we've got a lot of you know, people, wholesale distributions, manufacturing people on board. So here out of the box, you've got, you know, here's your series of different events that you come forward with. There's 26. Maybe let's go reorder point, right? So what do I want to know when I from a customer, from the way that I run my business, what's important to me. So I select, I want my AP vendor number, my customer number, the warehouse ID. I take that, maybe I do a subsection of that and say, okay, well, this is the data element that I want from that information, and I slowly build my report below of what I want. This one has 17 different line items that I'm looking for to pull from the application. So if you gave this to someone at the organization, how long would it take them to run this report for you? Because you're just looking for visibility to make the next decision, right? So I want the vendor number, the item code, minimum on hand, maximum on hand, quantity on back order, how many I got on purchase orders, how many work orders do I have, method of payments, where the warehouse is going, suggested reorder order quantity, and quantity on hand, right? That's a quick little report that you can run on a you know, once a week, once a month, just to give you, again, that snapshot. Because Sage 300 is your single point of truth, all the information here is accurate. Moving forward is what you need. And I'm going to pull and cancel that one out of there. Oh, okay. And we'll just grab some other ones. Just to give you an idea, needed. Let's go find something more exciting here. Quantity available needed. Let's pull that one. So here again, same scenario. We go through, you decide, so you pick them, I don't pick them. We picked them and built these 110 different alerts based on users like yourselves. These are the common ones that have. So we look for you know, your feedback saying, I want to build another alert. But these are soft coded, so you can go ahead and build your own alert. Again, selecting the tables that I want, confirming that makes it unique. This one's got 18 different things that we're looking for. All right, so you decide. We didn't, you know, this one's important, this one's not important. And then, you know, go ahead, preview it, and off it goes. So here's the information pulled from Sage 300, giving me my part numbers, my quantities, all those good things that we've asked for, you know, item descriptions, whatever data that resides within 300 can be extracted out and brought into these reports. And I'll just go to one more. We'll go into PO. We'll do the same thing and just look at some different queries in here. So we don't have a lot in PO, so you can write your own, but here's the, you know, different things that come from it. So show me all the POs on hold, right? So, okay, well, maybe there isn't POs on hold. Let's run the report. Okay, there is. So just send that to me, right? Don't make me go and push the buttons. Set that up as a report that comes to me. You know, that's important to me. It's important to my cash flow. What orders are on hold? So which ones are they? Why are they on hold, right? So purchase order date, all the pertinent information that I would want to know, to get some visibility on why those POs are on hold with my system. And maybe, you know, there's other ones that you would look at within this portfolio too, of you know, what's overdue, what's changed, you know, items overdue. So again, these were written by you users to decide what we want, or what you want to move forward. So I'll ask, and I'm going to ask you put it in the comment as we're doing this, is would there be a value to have an alert that said, here's all my items that come from vendors in the US, and the vendor code, the items that I'm getting, the item description that I'm getting, the landed cost price of this, and the tariff associated with this, and have an alert that does that. So if we set the tariff at 10% or 20%, anything that goes above and below that, send me alert that product has changed. And allows you, instead of manually doing this every time, you know, someone changes a tariff on you, it allows you would go into a filter and put the number of whatever the percentage is, and it allows you to filter through everything within Sage 300 and show me what exposure do I have by products, because that's one thing. but what's exposure do I have by orders that have those products associated with them, right? So if you've got orders in-house and you need subcomponents to it, and then the landed cost of that product has just gone up 30%, how does it affect my gross margin on my product, right? Those are the things that you would want to know. And so if that's something, and really looking for a comment from the group here, I'll go ahead and build it with my team, and we'll get it in here if it's something that you think we could use. And then again, just pulling the information that I want. We'll do customers all, and what do I want to know on these customers? Well, I want to know who they are, where they're at, AR divisions, that sort of idea, and then pull that and send it. So okay, I've done all that. Great, we built the alerts. What do I do next with them? Once we have the alerts, again, if I wanted to take any of these alerts, say this one, and I don't want to ever change these alerts. If I want to make it bespoke to me and make my own alert, I just copy it over, because this one's got more or less the data points that I want. I copy it over and I paste it, I rename it, and now it's my own. It's now sent out for me the way that I want to see it, right? I'll make it unique to the way that I want to see it. So once we go to pick one that we want, what's the next steps that happens with the application? Well, I pick the event that we just created, whatever it is. I want to schedule it. And so the schedule, there's a lot of drop downs here. You can put the time and date that you want it. You can also add your own, but we pretty much put everything that people have asked in here, once a day, once a month, whatever the scenario is. So you can select that. What do you want it to do? Well, it's going to trigger a query. It's going to pull into something, whatever that information is. The deliverable, I want it as a report, I want it as a file, I want it as an email, SMTP, a website, maybe a chart. Or you're going to take it as a submit SQL, because you're going to dive that information into something else. Or maybe you're going to post it as a web API, or maybe you're going to have a create file for it, a CSV file, and that's important to you. Whatever the scenario is, once we get the data points and how we're going to do it, the schedule that we're going to have it in, what event that we're going to have, then we go, okay, well, who are we sending it to, right? So we create a sisters of subscribers, and this is done by pulling your, if you're sending it to customers, then we pull the customer information from Sage 300. If you're sending it internally, then we just add in your internal information into it. Who's the recipient? It's going to be me at this company sort of idea. So that continues on. There is no limitation. It's not licensed in any way by the amount of alerts that are sent, or the amount of recipients of those alerts that are received. So it's only licensed to the database itself, in database connection, if you will. So with that, I'm going to drop this.
Greg, we have a couple questions for you in the chat that I've sent to you.
Yeah,
if you can address those.
Yeah, let me just pull it up. Let me expand this chat here for a sec. Chat. Yes. Can alerts run using optional fields, inventory control, for example? Yes. Yeah. So any optional field, any UDFs that are created can be an alert, can be created off of it. What's the other one? Is it possible to get a report for multiple databases? You have Sage 100, 300, for instance. Yes. Yes. So there is no limitation on databases that could be pervasive provided SQL that we can pull data from, and then aggregate that data and give you one report. So if you have data in another database, we can pull that information and consolidate it. I think those were the two there, Darcy.
Yep, that's it. Just the two.
Okay. Yeah, and so I'm just going to pop back here. Sorry. So that's the next one. So a system of actionable insights is the best means by which you can increase the responsiveness of your organization and differentiate yourself from your competition. We are a Sage Tech partner, which means we develop against the product. We get releases prior to you getting a release so that our products are tested against that so that we know what's going to happen. All those good things, you know, before you see that. We've got a little Q&A, but I'll get you, Darcy. I think there's one last poll if you want to go ahead and launch that.
Yep, launching it now.
Thanks. All good? 3, 2, 1, shut her down. Good stuff. Yep. And so, you know, I will open it up and I will say this. So I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you find value in the product. And so, you know, what is my call to action? What should I do next going on this? Reach out to your partner, say, hey, look, I want to have a deeper dive. I appreciate your 50,000 foot view, but let's have a conversation. Let's, you know, reach out to me, reach out to your partner. We'll get on a call. We'll go through this. We'll look at your business, what pain points you're looking for, what information you're trying to draw from it, how to best suit the product for your environment and what you're doing. So available to you at any time within, you know, 24 hours. As I say, I'm just outside of Toronto, so I'm in Eastern Standard Time and can help you to do that. Once we you know, get you going and you know that this is what you want to do, your partner will give you a proposal based on what we decide the subcomponents or modules that you need. Then it goes through. And Darcy, do you have any questions, other questions that you want to go through?
That's all from me. Thank you, Greg.
Okay. Yeah, no, these, I will say this just because it'll be asked. The implementation takes about an hour. Within 2 hours of the time we start to finish, these alerts are starting to fire off within your organization. So it's a pretty quick win for you, for your business to pull these forward. So with that, I will wrap it up, and certainly I'll start to thank the partners for assisting in getting you all to the audience. We really appreciate your time. I do believe a copy of this is going to show up on your email. Thanks to Sage for pulling this together. And beyond that, have a great day, everyone. Thank you.